5 reasons to vote Donald J. Trump. Kamala Harris on the economy.
Part of my plan is to expand the child tax credit to $6,000, and in particular to target young parents in the first year of their child's life to make sure they have the resources to buy a crib or a car seat or clothes, because, we know that the vast majority of our parents have a natural desire to parent their children well, but not always the resources. Especially when you also recognize that we did this, which is expand the child tax credit for less than I'm proposing now. But when we did, we reduced childhood poverty in America by 50%, black childhood poverty reduced by half. Part of my plan is to deal with the home health care of seniors. And I tell a personal story. I often go off script to tell a personal story. When my mother was sick, as it turned out she was dying from cancer, I took care of her.
This will cause more inflation, and as a result, families will end up owing the money given before their tax returns. The economy under Donald Trump.
Just to help it, but to me it's the most beautiful word in the dictionary.
Tariffs, do you think that will bring in the revenues? To use another bipartisan group, Peterson Institute, they say they'll only bring in $200 billion. That is that's barely the cost of 2 of your promises.
Yeah, but that's like, for what company are you talking about, okay? Look, I've brought in with tariffs, and I was just getting started. Then COVID came, and we had because I tell you what, I did a very good job in COVID. Nobody knew what the hell it was. I call it the China virus because I like being a little more accurate. But when that came, but we got hundreds of billions of dollars just from China alone, and I hadn't even started yet. But tariffs are two things, if you look at it. Number one is for protection of the companies that we have here and the new companies that will move in, because we're going to have thousands of companies coming into this country. We're going to grow it like it's never grown before, and we're going to protect them when they come in, because we're not going to have somebody undercut them.
By implementing tariffs on other countries, American businesses will be incentivized to return to the United States, creating more jobs in America. Kamala on immigration.
To actually strengthen the border. That border bill would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border, which is why I believe the Border Patrol agents supported the bill. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States, which is a scourge affecting people of every background, every geographic location in our country, killing people. It would have allowed us to put more resources into prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, which I have done as the Attorney General, former Attorney General of a border state.
Madam Vice President, a couple of things.
Prosecuted trafficking of drugs, guns, and human beings. And Donald Trump, but let me just finish.
6 Democrats voted against that bill.
Learned about that bill and told them to kill it because he preferred to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And in this election, this is rightly a discussion that the American people want to have. And what they want are solutions, and they want a president of the United States who's not playing political games with the issue,
I hear you,
but actually is focused on fixing it.
6 Democrats voted against that bill. It would have allowed 1.8 million illegal immigrants into the country a year. A lot of conservatives had a problem with it. These are the 6 Democrats.
The reason there's a border crisis is because the Biden and Harris administration allowed it in the first place, allowing millions to cross without legal processings. Trump on immigration.
So I want to ask you to go and vote, and really go vote to save America. I believe this is the most important election in the history of our country. With your support, we will get the border shut. We will send the illegals back. We will repel the invasion immediately. It won't take long. We'll defend our territory, reclaim our sovereignty. We've lost our sovereignty. And restore the allegiance of our government to the people of this country. Together we will make America powerful again, make America wealthy again, make America healthy again, make America strong again, make America proud again, make America safe again, and we will make America great again. We are going to make it greater than ever before. So Wisconsin, get out and vote.
Donald Trump's stance on immigration is seen as a way to protect American jobs and strengthen border security. Kamala on foreign policy.
The need for this war to end, the need for a deal to be done, which would release the hostages and create a ceasefire. And we're not going to stop in terms of putting that pressure on Israel and in the region, including Arab leaders.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
Do we have a real close ally in Prime Minister Netanyahu?
I think, with all due respect, the better question is, do we have an important alliance between the American people and the Israeli people? And the answer to that question is yes.
The United States and Israel are allies, but the Prime Minister of Israel has ignored Biden and Harris when it came to a ceasefire and two-state solution. Trump on foreign policy.
We were like a pussycat. We were ripped off by every nation in the world, and some of the worst rippers were our so-called allies, people countries that we supposedly get along with, but they're the ones that took advantage of us on trade at a level like, I mean, I ended some of the dumbest trade deals I've ever seen and made them much better for the country. I mean, what difference does it make? I took a terrible trade deal, would make it a good trade deal. But like Japan, I redid the trade deal. South Korea, I did the trade deal. The deals. I went to Abe of Japan. I said, Shinzo, he was assassinated. He was as you probably know, he's incredible, great man. He was a great leader for the people. They loved him. I said, Shinzo, look, we can't do this. The trade deal is so bad. We're friends, but I have to renegotiate the trade deal. And he said to me, I knew that would happen. I said, why did you know? Because you're right, it's so one-sided.
His focus on withdrawing troops and renegotiating trade agreements aligns with a vision of putting America's needs first. Kamala on future taxes.
Expanding that child tax credit, or you mentioned housing before, giving that extra money for a first home. If you can't raise corporate taxes, or if GOP takes control of the Senate, where do you get the money to do that? Do you still go forward with those plans and borrow?
Well, but we're going to have to raise corporate taxes, and we're going to have to make sure that the biggest corporations and billionaires pay their fair share. That's just it. It's about paying their fair share. I am not mad at anyone for achieving success, but everyone should pay their fair share, and it is not right that the teachers and the firefighters that I meet every day across our country are paying a higher tax than the richest people in our country.
Bill Gates just said it this week. If he was in charge of taxes, he would have paid more.
Just any citizen who owns a business would not like to pay more taxes. Therefore, corporations and big companies will look elsewhere into other countries to do business, which eliminates a large portion of jobs in the United States, basically taxing little to no corporations otherwise. Trump's tax cuts and small government.
I'm also announcing that as part of our additional tax cuts, we will end all taxes on overtime. You know what that means? Think of that. Think of that. Think of that. That gives people more of an incentive to work. It gives the companies it's a lot easier to get the people. And, I went to some economists, great ones, and I said, what do you think? They said, it would be unbelievable. You'll get a whole new workforce by doing that. No taxes on overtime. The people who work overtime are among the hardest working citizens in our country. And for too long, no one in Washington has been looking out for them. Those are the people. They really work.
His efforts to lower taxes and reduce the size of the federal government promotes economic growth and individual liberty. Kamala on sex change procedures.
Do you believe that transgender Americans should have access to gender-affirming care in this country?
I believe we should follow the law. I mean, I think you're probably pointing to the fact that Donald Trump's campaign has spent tens of millions of dollars.
They're trying to define you on this.
Yes,
I'm asking you to define yourself, though. Just broadly speaking, what is your value? Do you believe they should have that access?
I believe that people, as the law states, even on this issue about federal law, that is a decision that doctors will make in terms of what is medically necessary. I'm not going to put myself in the position of a doctor, but let's also understand that Donald Trump is running tens of millions of dollars in ads to talk about two cases, to distract from the fact that his policy and plan is also to take away the Affordable Care Act.
This proves that she does not have the interest of the American people, let alone women. Allowing men to change their sex and pretend to be women defeats the purpose of women's rights if now men have them as well. But the bigger issue now is wanting underage children to receive this procedure. Donald Trump on the woke.
Kamala, who's a radical left lunatic. You know, I think this is going to be the most important election in the history of our country.
I agree.
Because our country's going bad. You know, I hate to say, I wouldn't do this with just politics. Our country is going bad. The things we do. I mean, men playing in women's sports, okay?
Not, absolutely not.
It's crazy, and let's not say it's the most important, but it's just crazy, the whole concept. Having no borders, having elections where you're not allowed to ask somebody whether or not they happen to live in the country. Just anybody can walk in.
Yeah.
It's really wacky, and we're going to get it changed, Cyrus.
I believe that.
Trump has become the leading figure in opposing the woke culture, which is an overreach of progressive ideologies in areas like free speech, education, and media. People have been alienated, banned from social media and other platforms by this culture. The people are in support of Donald Trump in resisting the woke and the bad influence on American culture and rotting the youth's mind.
Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.